Alright, so this is a quick recap on the market. Basically, the trend is up on the daily. Left chart is daily, right chart is the 5 minute. So over here, I mean, the trend was, yeah, trend changed to green over here, so it's very clear. And all you had was a range. And I explained what happened here, but I mean, like, if you take a look, before even going into this, just remember, when you in an uptrend, price, time, and volume will be bigger on the upswings than the downswings. Alright, if you understand what this means, it means that you know what to expect. Where price, time, and volume is just going to be bigger on up waves versus down waves. It's really that simple. And in downtrend, down waves will have bigger price, time, volume. So that is what you're looking for. Now, the only place where that gets really confusing is when you have a lot of these little waves, these inside waves, consolidation, etc. You know, that kind of makes you go a little nutty. But besides that, the waves are very clear. So, for example, over here, you know, price went up, time went up, volume went up. And the pullbacks on supply went from 10 to 5 to 4. And that was the smallest volume in 8 waves. So trend went up. I went green. Anyway, so let's see what this range here is very interesting to me, because when I look at the 5 minute chart of what's going on here, it looks like absorption. Why? Because it's hugging, not reacting. Now today it pulled back and went all the way down to support. I'm not too crazy about that, but look at the volume. There's nothing. And the rally after that had more volume. So if this is going to turn, my expectation is price, time, and volume would be more on the downside. When that situation is not the case, something's off. And this is just the way the markets work. Why? Because to get from point A to point B, you have to have the wave down. Down waves must be greater than the up waves. That's the only way you can go from point A to point B, where point B is lower than point A. The down waves must be bigger. Why? Because that's the only way you can get from point A to point B when point B is down or lower than point A, and vice versa. So that, and then time and volume, those two other factors, in principle, they will also be bigger. So if you take a look at the volumes on the down waves, 7, 4, and 2, and 0. Does that look like downwave behavior or downtrend behavior? No, obviously not. You know, and the up waves aren't that great, but they're still bigger than the down waves in terms of volume, right? Now, what gets a little confusing is when one thing says no and the other thing says, price says, yeah, I just went down a whole lot more, right? Because then you have that divergence between price and volume. And that, when that happens, you stay out and wait. Because you want clarity. Clarity means up waves have more price, time, volume than down waves in an uptrend, and in a downtrend they have more price, time, volume in a downtrend. By price I mean distance, like the dollar amounts, you know, etc. That's the way the market works. And that's the way any market works. That's not the stock market. It has to work like that. So this is like the part that's not random, you know, or at least not random most of the time. It can make sense, right? Like over here, you go from 7 to 4 to 2 to 0. What? Does that look like it's going to break? No. So that's why all it did was go to support. Now I'm not too crazy that it did that, and that's why my indicator went red, because it took out multiple lows here. But considering multiple background and all that, it's still because of a big move here. It's just a retracement down to a support level, so I'm not too concerned. What I'm looking for, probably sold end of day or whatever, is seeing how this behavior pans out, and whether, if it does go down, is it trying to test this area, this breakout area, like somewhere around here. Is that what it's trying to do? If it does, I'll know, because I just explained those factors are going to go in my favor. That's it. Whether it's up or down. So I'll know. But anyway, who cares? Over here on the daily, it's up. And the last two down waves had one went down for 3 days, the other one down for 2 days. Where the up waves, like I've been telling over and over again, 6 days, 6 days, 4 days. Down wave 2 day, 3 day, 2 day. What does that mean? That means the time on the up waves is greater than the time on the down waves. So the time or volume, and price as well, it will be bigger on the up waves than the down waves. This is the way, the genius of fucking Wyckoff, what he figured out when he implemented the waves on these bar charts, because bar charts themselves are very confusing. So he figured out a framework to put on the bar charts, a framework for tape reading, and he put it on the bar charts that allows you to judge supply and demand, and that is done through the waves. That's what he did. It's really quite smart, because he took something that looked like bars or just erratic price fluctuations, and he put a framework, and then was able to have rules or laws allowing him to judge the strength of one side versus the other. Anyway, long story short, look, higher, you can say bigger or smaller too. Maybe I should do that, because bigger, higher, lower, smaller, higher, smaller. 7, 5, 6, 4, 5, 2. How is the market going to turn? Until those waves have more price, time, and volume, it's not sustainable. It's not going to happen. Because if you want to go from A to B, and B is lower than A, that means the down waves must be greater than the up waves. The down wave in price must be greater, meaning the distance must be greater. This is a law. Alright? And time, in almost most cases, you say about 90%, as a principle, you can accept that. And volume, as a principle, you can accept that. And when that changes, then you have to step back, because something's not making sense, or there's some type of turn that's going to occur. Now you're saying, oh, you know what, why? Can you show me that shit? I'll show you right now. When this went up on 3, right? Like 3 million. When this drive went down and it dried up like that on 1 million, what happened? The up waves had more volume than the down waves. What resulted? The entire trend changed. You see? Entire trend changed from the downtrend to an uptrend. this is this is like I don't want to say expected, but I mean, this is normal behavior, and markets have that normal behavior. They do have that behavior, and this is what you kind of develop this understanding after looking at the same thing over and over again, and also understanding what it means. Anyway, long story short, it's still an uptrend, and not too crazy about this down move, but look at the volume, zero, and still the up waves have more volume. So what's that mean? It means that if they want to break, they have to break this low, and the volume must get bigger. And if they do that, I'm going to be looking for, downside opportunity. Simple as that. And other than that, what other shit is going on over here? So let's see. 2, 9, 8. Anything? No, nothing. Can't read this. Smallest up volume in 31 bars. Is that right? It's not good. Yeah, but it's not a pullback. So let's see. Yeah, over here, see, like as price went higher, volume started going lower, like went from 12, 12, 9, 6, right? See that 12, 12, 9, 6, and over here it went lower, but it's still greater than the upside. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just hugging and it's going to break out. I mean, because when you think about it, this bar is really a continuation of this bar. So it was already a big move and it's flagging. So um, I shouldn't say that because it can pull back to this area first and then do what it wants to do. Like give, because it trapped a lot of people, right? Because a lot of breakouts, like right there, they went long. Right. I would say probably this bar, they probably went long. So anyway, whatever. I have nothing else to say. Thank you. Bye.